All right, part 2.
Part. The best we could have done then was to FaceTime. But I wanted to be there so bad because
What an awful feeling as a mother, like, wanting to be there so bad for your kid and you
I
can't.
knew how much that would mean for her. But it didn't happen.
Oh, she's so sweet.
My husband and I attended every one of Simone's competition except the Tokyo Olympics.
That's crazy. She's been to so many competitions.
She just has this ability, this amazing body awareness.
Oh, God, they just keep replaying that 1.5.
Simone kind of almost looked like she got a little bit lost.
I was like, you gotta be shitting me.
Like,
right now, really right now, we're gonna do this.
Right. It's never a good time to have the
And then I look
twisties.
at the face, she pretended it's, I'm fine. No. You find when you do a fall, like you make your stuff, but you fall.
Oh,
But when
whoa.
you get lost in something, no, you're not fine.
Yeah,
I
sure.
knew from that very moment that it wasn't just like one time and done, because I feel like you can like feel it in your head. The entire world is expecting for her
God,
to be
twisties are
the
so
best,
awful.
just like
And it's got to be a lonely place at times.
Well, and people, when she was able to compete other events and do other type of twisting elements, were like, this is BS. How can she do this twist, but she can't do that twist? And I'm like, ugh, you guys don't understand. You guys don't understand. Like, the twisties are so weird. Like, for me personally, I could not do a round off back handspring layout full anymore on floor. I like lost my full from the twisties, but I can do a standing tuck full. I can do a handstand step down layout full off of the vault. I would do that as a timer before my vault competitions, like in warm up. But if you asked me to do a standing full off the vault, I'd get lost, but I could do it from a handstand step down. I could do round off 1.5s. I could do round bike handspring double fulls, round bike handspring 2.5s, triples, but I could not do a layout full on the floor since I was like 11 or 12. I can do jumping tuck fulls on the tramp, standing tuck fulls off the floor into a pit. I can't do it on the floor because I'll land on my head. That has nothing to do with the twisties, though. That's just because I suck at standing fulls. But it's the oddest thing, and my coaches would think, they'd be like, "What are you talking about?" I'd be like, "Bro, I don't know. I'm just as confused as you are. Like, I don't know what's going on either. It just, that's how my brain is going right now." So like that for her, I was like, it's not the same. Doing a twist off a beam might feel way different than her doing it off a vault. It's like, I get it, but you don't get it because you've never done a flip in your life and you have no idea what it's like. That's why you're on the couch. Okay? That's why you're sitting there munching, okay? And watching her go to the Olympics while you're on Twitter talking crap about her.
supposed to do. And I knew it wasn't just like, oh, oops, sorry. I was like, how am I supposed to tell them that this is bad?
God, this is awful. And here she had to compete because they set her in lineup. So I don't think they were allowed to change the lineup this late. So like she had to do a vault. Makes me want to throw up. Like just knowing she's probably like, oh my God, what am I about to do? What am I about to do? I have no idea. I just keep rewatching it and she has no idea where she is. You can just tell in her face and her eyes. God, this is awful.
Never in my life have I seen her do that. Never.
Ugh.
But I believe that's what
She feels so bad too. I feel like she let them down. It's so sad.
Things got a little funky. Just doubting herself somewhere.
God, you can see it in her face. It's terrifying.
It's 1 year. Things were beyond our control.
Her mom is so sweet.
I don't want to do something stupid. To me, it felt silent, almost like death.
Ugh, they just keep replaying it and I just keep wanting to throw
And
up.
if I could have ran out of that stadium, I would have. But I was like, keep it cool, calm, collected, don't freak anybody out. Let's go over and be like, we're done here.
We're done here.
She's alone. Like the fact that the
That's
athletes
so
have to
tough,
travel
too.
without family, without friends, without their network, and it grossly underestimates the importance of connection and community.
Literally, if there's anything COVID did, it was validate why we as humans are supposed to be in a community, why we as humans are not meant to be secluded from each other. There's a reason the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. That comes from so much history being done as a human race that, you know, you cannot do it alone. We need each other. We need other humans around us for our mental health, our emotional health, spiritual health, which all relates to our physical health too. Like, if there's anything that this validated, was your sense of community is one of the most important things that you can ever have in the world, and your family is one of the most important things you can have in the world. So she's exactly right on that. I couldn't agree more.
Our physical performance and possibilities.
Be the best.
Yeah,
I love you.
Up. It's Simone. Come on.
Oh, she called them. I forgot she called them at the Olympics. Like in the middle of it.
Talk to her.
Hello? You can't do it. That's okay, honey. That's okay. They will do their best without you. I don't want you going out there if you're not in a good place, and you don't need to go out there and hurt yourself. That's just not right, okay? You need to take care of yourself. Okay?
Ah, this is so hard to watch.
Okay. I love you. Okay? Just take some deep breaths and just know we're praying for you, okay? Okay. I love you. Bye. She says she can't do it.
You're just being told by the officials that Simone.
And this is probably going to get mentioned too, but like something that really pisses me off is like, people are like, you gave up on your country, you're the reason we lost gold. And I'm like, she actually might have been the reason we won silver. Because had she stayed in, we probably wouldn't have even medaled. Because she could have gotten lost on bars or beam and floor and fallen, and it could have harmed us. So I think people's ignorance again was just getting the best of them. And I'm like, what country is mad at their Olympic team for winning silver? So many countries in the world sob and celebrate their athletes when they finally just get on podium, when they get a bronze or they get a silver. It's the biggest deal in the world, and it is. They've made the podium. That is a huge deal in general. So for there to be countries that when they get third for the first time ever in their country's history, that is everything for that country. And here we are going, you're the reason we got silver. Hello? We got silver at the freaking Olympics. That's still huge. And again, I don't know if we even would have gotten a medal had Simone continued to compete, because her twisties could have caused her to fall and harm the team score, or worse, could have severely injured Simone to where she might not even be able to walk. Like, can we please remember that sports is not the biggest thing in the world?
Biles is out
That's what really pissed me off.
of the competition tonight.
Like, how dare you take away silver from those girls? How dare you? With everything USAG that this whole community of gymnastics has gone through, and those women specifically had gone through and experienced, for them to go to the Olympics and win silver, and for you to try to take that away from them? No, screw you. They won silver, and it's a wonderful achievement, and we still have Simone to thank for that, because again, she could have, had she continued to compete, we don't know what the outcome would have been. So I think silver is still pretty damn good.
I love you.
Have you ever seen anything quite to this level?
It's quite a movie.
She's so selfish too. Sorry, that came out wrong. She's so selfless too. Just to be like, I've been here. I've had my Olympics. Like, go and do it for you. Go and do it for our country. Go and do it, like this is your first and maybe ever. It could be your last. We don't know. It's not for, literally Jade and Suni and Jordan as well. Yeah. I was like, my God, Jade, Suni, Jordan. But she's just such a good person, and people are just so ugly to her.
Afterwards, I kind of felt like I was in jail with my own brain and body.
What an awful, awful, awful
Just like,
feeling.
I just feel
Seriously.
so ashamed.
pummel people for her. Having
Having these mental blocks in the gym recently, it's not been fun. It's been scary.
and she's alone. She's all by
I'm getting
herself.
lost with my skills. I just don't get how it's like I'm so prepared that I don't know if I'm overthinking. It's becoming dangerous because I'm getting lost from
Exactly.
all my floor skills.
Exactly. People are so ignorant. They just don't know. They don't understand how dangerous this is.
It's like what happens at the Olympics. It's like
Yeah, that sucks so bad.
in gym we call it the twisties. Should be a forbidden word. It sucks to have them.
It's an injury. It really is.
Yesterday with what is known as a bad case of the twisties. Twisties are kind of when the brain stops communicating with the body and the body decides to do one thing and the brain wants to do another.
See, and people don't even understand that explanation because they're still like, they just don't get it. That's why, like, the best way I've ever been able to explain it to people and people that I've, I had a tweet go viral a little bit when this happened because I made a comment about her with the twisties and comparing it to Tom Brady because people are telling her and saying how weak she was and saying how she's not the GOAT because Tom Brady, even on an off day, would never give up on his team and stupid stuff like that. And I'm like, this isn't that Simone was having an off day or that she was, oh, she has mental health issues. She's so weak, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't that. It was that she had the twisties. The twisties is an injury to the brain. And just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. So, I said a tweet, and again, this is when Twitter only had so many characteristics, and I think it's still limited, whatever. I don't get on Twitter much, or I don't tweet on Twitter much. But I said, when Simone Biles has an off day, it can result in her being carried out on a stretcher. If Tom Brady has an off day, he might just throw an interception or something. Like, it's not the same. And the people wanted to, pull from left field, like, tell her the amount of football players that have been paralyzed, the amount of football players that have been injured. I'm not arguing, and I wasn't saying that football wasn't dangerous. I think football is one of the most dangerous sports in the world, so much that I won't even let my son play it as he gets older. I think football is more dangerous than gymnastics. That's not the argument I was making. My argument was, if we want to talk about an off day for Tom Brady is that he might feel a little off with his throw or his technique, so he might throw an interception. It's not going to result in him landing on his head. When Simone has an off day because she has the twisties, it will most likely result in her landing on her head, and her training videos point that out. That is the point. And that tweet, a lot of men, shocker, were getting really upset with me that I dare talk about their loving God, Tom Brady. If I saw Tom Brady walking down the street, I'd be like, cool. Hey, dude. People got so upset with me for that tweet. And my point with it was, this is not about her having an off day. It's the twisties. And we need to explain what the twisties is. And I had a lot of men message me. And I actually had a few message me back and apologize for the way they talked to me, because when I either replied to them explaining them what the twisties were, or further explanation came out, they actually pulled their head, on top of their neck and thought with their brain and said, oh, I didn't realize actually how bad it is. Like, I apologize. Like, I shouldn't have said that. And that's like, kudos to them for like taking accountability. But that was like the best way for me to get across those people messaging me. I'm like, it's vertigo. Like, do you know what vertigo is? And they're like, oh yeah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, that's what she has, essentially. She has no idea where she is in the air. And I further explained it. So like, vertigo was like the best way for me to get them to understand that it was beyond the mind and the body weren't connecting, or she was having an off day, or she's having a mental breakdown. She has the twisties. It's a mental injury. She has vertigo, essentially. The best way I can compare it. And she has no idea which way was up, down, left, right, catty corner, horizontal. She has no idea. And it's very dangerous and awful.
Actually fall and seriously hurt themselves.
I mean, I'm not going to put that out there because I don't want young gymnasts to, but I am going to say it. You can die. It's the reality of flipping up in the air, upside down, and having to land on your feet. Your head could hit first.
And the only way to cure it is to take some time off and to understand why this happened. And most of the time it's unrelated to gymnastics.
Suddenly her out.
I know it must have been, it probably was so hard to do this, but like somebody should have taken her phone. They should have never let her get on Twitter and see the awful things that were being said about her. Like that was not going to help her at all. But you know what? I would want to see it too. I mean, I would want to look and see what people are saying too. It's such a double-edged sword. But I just like, my first thought is like, protect her. Don't let her read that stuff. And what can you do? Quitters are not role models for anyone. Wow.
That's what engendered a lot of the criticism on social media.
How frustrating. I feel so frustrated for her.
You know, you just dropped out and you let your team down.
I thought she might be the GOAT. You can only silence the noise for so long till it gets to you.
Sports are supposed to teach you life lessons. I thought that was the whole deal, right?
The GOAT of all gymnasts. She quit last night.
What happened to fighting through injury? What happened to working through stuff you didn't really...
You probably shouldn't be saying you need to be fighting through an injury, blah, 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 about one of the best athletes to ever live. Go take your medication, sit down, and read a book on what it's like to have the twisties as a gymnast. And then maybe we can give you a mic and a platform. Because like Simone said, not everybody deserves a mic and a platform, sir.
I'm done. I'm not going to show off.
This is what pissed me off. Again, I said this in part 1. The girl knows how to be tough. The girl knows how to push through things. She pushed through kidney stones when she was at Worlds. I believe it was World, and she won. She pushed through being very abused for a lot of the years that she was in gymnastics. She knows how to push through injury. She knows how to push through tough times. Makes me so angry.
Things were way louder than all of the support. You just feel like a big disappointment. The GOAT chokes. How appropriate for self-proclaiming yourself as the greatest of all time. LMAO. Sitting on your couch watching me from home. Okay.
Exactly. Sitting on your couch watching me from home. What did you do ever with your life besides make stupid tweets?
They could see like loser or like whatever, like quitter across my head. So I always felt like everyone was staring at me even if they weren't.
An excuse of, the mental stress.
It's like we already carry that weight on our own. Like, I really don't need your 2 cents.
Yeah. Everybody had an opinion about what happened.
So frustrating.
Blah, blah, blah.
She's like, can't take anymore.
She's not like she's not a chicken. She's
The best of all time by all people's accounts.
Aren't they changing rules because she could do shit that other people can't do?
Working 5 years for a dream and just having to give it up. It was not easy at all. Tokyo, Team USA pins and stuff we were supposed to trade that I didn't get to because my mood was bad.
She said my mood was bad.
For now. I mean, even touching it is like,
It's such a gymnast thing too. I was just talking about this with one of my athletes. Like, she had a really bad day at practice. It was just like not her day. And we were joking around. I was like, whenever I had a bad practice in a Leo, I never wore that Leo again, or I would never wear it on that day again. And she goes, oh, that's exactly what I'm never wearing this Leo again. You just have these like superstitions, and it becomes so superstitious you believe it, and your mind's very powerful. So that's how I think she feels with that Leo. It's like, I love it, it's pretty, but you're bad luck. Oh god, they're showing so much scary stuff. Ooh.
But there was a deep belief that this was the way to achieve the success.
This is what I was talking about in part 1. Breaking so many stigmas. You don't have to be abused and you don't have to be broken to be successful.
Today from a woman who dislocated her elbow this spring. She had surgery. They inserted a micro screw in her arm to repair it.
Even physical well-being wasn't necessarily part of the conversation. If you cannot do it, you need to move out of the way.
Right. It's just so cutthroat. Well, and the thing too about it being such cutthroat, like, I get sometimes things are cutthroat or like it's business, it's whatever, but like it can't always be like that. And there are healthier and better alternatives a lot of the time to be successful. But specifically when this era of gymnastics was, okay, they're doing these things not just to people but to children. This is beyond, you need to toughen up. You need to know, they're asking children. That girl's 15. That girl's 16. That girl's 17. Like, to do really awful things to their body in the name of USA Gymnastics. That was, that's another point that I always remember is I'm like, it was beyond being cutthroat. It wasn't that they couldn't take it. It's just these are also still kids. And now a lot of these women suffer with a lot of damage on their bodies because of the way they were treated.
That makes you resilient and a champion.
You don't even think about it until after the fact. Like, now, years later. Wow. That was probably like borderline abuse.
It's 15-year-old Dominic Dawg,
15.
whose ankles are taped for a reason.
We were kids back then, and we were supposed to do as we were told. They thought that is what it takes to build an Olympic champion or to build a college scholarship athlete, and I will say that's how you rip down a human being.
Period. Ugh, that first fall, I could just see her ankle break.
We all were injured. We all were beat down and battered. She's standing at the end of the vault runway, visibly in physical pain, emotional pain as well. Her coaches are like telling her she can do it. Like, that would be nerve-wracking as an adult. These are young teenagers that have given up their whole childhood. Nearly 40,000 people screaming for her to go because it's for your country.
Ugh. Broken ankle. Ugh. Poor
Watching that
honey.
video, total badass. You go, girl. And I know some of us have even competed on injuries, but I definitely think about it a little bit differently.
You know, I think what we did, of course, was historic and groundbreaking, but I think if we look back now, we're like, that was not right.
Yeah, that is a tough situation. What a catch, like 22. I feel like that 96 Olympics was, because if it hadn't been for Carrie doing what she did, we never would have won gold. But also, it's like, at what cost too? It's like it was. I always remember this quote when the Larry thing was happening. Is like, how much is a little girl worth? And that's exactly what I look at when I see Carrie. I'm just like, sports require you to sacrifice a lot, and you're gonna have to push through, bumps and bruises and little injuries here and there and things like that. But then it's also like, how do we ask someone to go compete for their country as a child with this shattered ankle? At what cost? At how much is she worth? Like, was the gold for the country worth her potentially getting even more severely injured? Like, how much do we ask a child to sacrifice when they don't even grasp what they're actually sacrificing? They don't actually grasp what they might be doing to their body and what they might be doing to themselves in the name of the leotard that they're wearing, or the organization they're representing, or the country that they're representing. Like, you don't want to give up on your country, and you don't want to give up on your team and your coaches and yourself. But then it's also like, but when do I become something to fight for? Like, when do I become a priority too? And so it's a really tough balance, because it's like Simone said, like it's such an amazing moment, and it was a very respectful moment, that what she did, but that it's also like, God, it was like we had the gold behind her name and our ooh and ah, and our country won, but also it's like it came at her sacrificing her body. And it's like, I get it that we have if it was easy, everyone would do it. If we never had to push through soreness and things like that, like everyone would, we would all be winners. But it's the people that are willing to do things other people aren't willing to do. It's the people that are willing to push through soreness and tiredness and no motivation and things like that to get the job done and be disciplined, and that's why they're successful. That is a huge, that is required to be great at anything you do. But also, there has to be a line of that you don't cross, and where you protect yourself, or the people you're in charge of, and you step back and go, is this sacrifice necessary? Was her sacrificing her body like that, was that necessary? And you can argue it was, because she had already competed, she needed to go, but would you be able to say, well, had she stopped because she broke her ankle, people would have understood, and it just would have been a tough loss. we would have lost, but the world didn't end, because if Carrie hadn't competed, the world wouldn't have ended. It wasn't like it was literally for the end of the world. It was for gold. And I think in that situation, had she not gone, it would have been understandable, because she suffered an injury. It's like when Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles, nobody's yelling at him to get out there and do it for his team and his city in the Super Bowl, things like that. Like, the guy tore his Achilles. Like, what are you going to do? Same with Carrie. Like, she broke her ankle. What we're going to do is it was just a crappy situation. Like, that would have been, I think, that would have been the answer. It was just a bad situation that just sucks. That's how we went out. But we would have swallowed it and took it because she had a broken ankle. So that situation that's a tough one to look at. That's a real tough one. And like Simone, I feel exactly where Simone is, because we sit here and we see Carrie, and she's such a iconic gymnast for us, because she did so much, in that moment, to be and represent our country and our sport with such pride. But then also I'm like, what did she even have a choice? And that part's where the part where Simone is at, is she sees it differently. And I definitely see it where Simone is at too, is I see it differently. It's like, yeah, did she do it for her country though, or did she do it because she was afraid of Bella, So it's a tough one.
I know after Tokyo, that video got brought back up. It's like, well, why couldn't you be Carrie Strug? And then a lot of people on the other hand were like, absolutely not. Carrie shouldn't have even done that back in the day.
Right.
And maybe if my ankle was fractured, yeah, I would have still done it. But that wasn't the case.
Right.
Where I was mentally and physically, it could have potentially been more than an ankle or something.
Exactly.
It could have been worse.
I say put mental health first, because if you don't, then you're not going to enjoy your sport and you're not going to succeed as much as you want to. So it's okay sometimes to even sit out the big competitions to focus on yourself, because it shows how strong of a competitor and person that you really are.
All right, last thought for this part 2. Part 3 and 4 will be uploaded at a different time. I definitely, somebody asked me, like, what do you think is more important, physical health or mental health? And, after sitting and thinking, and personally, I think mental health has to come first, because mental health can take a toll on your physical health. And your physical health can absolutely take a toll on your mental health. But at the end of the day, if you are not mentally sound and mentally prepared and mentally tough and mentally strong, the rest is probably going to fall apart. Because, I've had kind of my mental toughness tested this last few weeks with my body. My body's been hurting really bad. I have like 4 injuries going on in my body, and I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm on medication, and I'm getting these MRIs and all these things. And I've had to stay mentally strong and just remind myself, like, the pain's not going to last forever. It's going to get fixed. You'll be okay, because I've been in so much pain that I'm, I can't sleep. I'm bawling my eyes out in the middle of the night because I'm exhausted. I'm in so much pain. I can't get away from it. Nothing that I do is helping my pain at one point during this. And so I had to, like, literally calm my mind and be like, you can do this. You will be okay. We'll get the answers. We'll figure out what the injuries are. We'll get you a steroid shot. We'll put you on some oral medication to help with the pain. And I had to be mentally strong there. I had to be mentally sound to kind of talk myself out of this anxiety attack I was having from having so much pain. And so had I not been strong there, it could have gotten, bad and even worse than it already was. And when you're not mentally strong and you're not mentally sound, it can take a physical toll. You go into a depression and all of these things. You're not exercising, you're not getting outside, and that takes a physical toll on you. You're not eating, that takes a physical toll on you. So for me, I definitely think mental health is everything, because it really does affect all of your healths, your spiritual health, your emotional health, and your physical health. So I definitely agree with her on that part, that the mental health part, just like your physical health, it's just as, if not, I think, more important than your physical health. So what she was doing was absolutely necessary. All right, you guys, that's it. I'll see you guys in part 3.